You know, the one thing that I had right off the bat was don't market accolades after 3 years. So when you say we are the Little League state champions as up to 2012, what happens is, boy, over the last 6 years, they haven't done very well, have they? See what I mean? And so I just say after about 3 years, you can't write it because that's what people will think. They used to be good. And we see Chocolate City, we can't wait to find it. 4 seconds to read signs. There's no way, when people are going down a road, 4 seconds. There's no way we could read Chocolate City, Welcome to Burlington, home of, and then the Little League, and then Chocolate Fest, and then Tony Romo. And by the way, Tony Romo is almost getting covered with weeds. But when you come into Burlington every single way, what happens is the first thing you do is assault us with a sign about all your parking rules and regulations. Now, are we supposed to stop, pull over, get out of the car, and read all of that? And if that's not enough, we've got that, there's your welcome sign, and then we hit you with some more rules and regulations, and this is in red, which really means danger, stay away. So one is 2 to 5 a.m. alternate parking restrictions. I have no clue what that means. I don't know if that's alternate, like even side of the street addresses and odd side of the streets. I mean, I have no clue what that means. And then 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. no parking if we got 3 inches of snow. So I'm sure people rush outside to measure it. And then snow emergency parking applies to all city streets. And then we have no longer than 24 hours can you park on the street. And by the way, vehicles are subject to tow, and if you have any questions, call the cops. I just don't know that this is really necessary. This is the only town I've seen this in, and we've worked all over. I think you'd be better off in October before the first snowfall sending out a mailer to everybody to remind them of the parking restrictions. And then for Burlington, you got to start over with your wayfinding. I mean, you can't read it. Number one, you don't use serifed fonts, which are the little, I mean, they're way too small. They're about the right size for pedestrian wayfinding. So if you want to do something, you could move those signs down a few feet and let them be for pedestrians. You know, and then put bigger vehicular ones up above if you wanted. And so this countywide needs to be a big deal. And that includes amenity signage, which is like visitor information, restrooms, public parking, medical, police, fire, all of those. Those are amenities. It needs to include where your attractions and activities, boat launches, public access points, I mean, trail markers and access points. We saw trails all over this county. We have no clue what any of them are called and where they connect to or anything, because there's no trail maps or markers. Visitor information kiosks, pedestrian wayfinding, all of these things, pole banners, all of these things are part of wayfinding. And by the way, this is the kind of wayfinding you need. It's like 1-inch tall letters for every 30 feet of viewing distance. So the signs in downtown Burlington, the letters need to be about 4 times larger. Never more than 5 items on any sign. This one has 4. You know, but there's a place called the Woodlands in Texas, and the signs look like a place called Woodlands. And so this is in Appleton. Just so you understand, that sign there was about $800. It's got an aqueous coating so ice doesn't stick on it, graffiti won't stick on it. It's got stainless steel hardware, and it's mounted on an existing power pole. They put up 18 of those signs, and the retail sales went up by more than 10%. And so when you do wayfinding, it plays a role in your branding efforts, whether it's chocolate or whatever your brand is. We're going to talk about that. And then it's a major component in your marketing. It reinforces a positive experience. It increases spending locally. And then it educates visitors and locals about what you got and where it's located. Because remember, we hadn't been here before because we're just scouting it out. And it builds community pride, and it's as much a science as an art. And that might have been your challenge. I don't know who designed the signs, but there are only a handful of companies across the country that do wayfinding. I mean, it gives me a headache when I see what they go through for viewing distances, the type of lettering, even the spaces between the lettering. And so it does increase retail services between 14 and 28%. An investment, not an expense. And by the way, navigation systems are not a substitute for wayfinding. Hey Siri, take me to the Hampton Inn Burlington, right? Because we know it exists. But I don't know that you have a spinning top museum. I don't know that you have a log. We type in navigation systems, things we already know exist. Your wayfinding tells us about stuff we didn't know you had. We have a video in our library that tells you how to do it, step by step. Now, with your pole banners, you know what? I always tell cities, don't put historic buildings on your pole banners. We're already downtown. We can see the buildings. Instead, sell the feeling. Because, you know, I know you're historic downtown, but yeah, what is there to do? If you go to Appleton, that's what their banners look like in the middle of downtown. I mean, you know, or this is over in Allegheny, which is in western New York State. I mean, it's a Victorian, a cute little town, and the pole banners sell a feeling. So when you get a chance to do your pole banners, just don't show buildings, sell a feeling. That's what you're trying to do, okay? So just another suggestion there. So now, we're exploring your two towns. We kind of got through the wayfinding, and by the way, every time we have left Racine, we've had to get wayfinding even to get out here. Today, it took us like almost to Waterford and then said go south. I'm not too sure why. But once we're here, we're exploring. So, you know, and then, you know, even this, I thought, you know, rather than list your events, what if you put the top 5 things to do while in Burlington on that sign? Because the events, if we don't time it just right, it's like, well, so much for that. You know, but if we said, wow, did you know we had this trail, or we have this, or we have a great shop downtown or something, that'd be great. We did come to Richard Bong State Recreation Area. That would go good with the Alice's Brownies. Just kidding. It just slipped out somehow, you know. So anyway, and I hope that's not the top activity there. But when I talk about the top activity, is it hiking? Is it bird watching? Is it wildlife viewing? Rather than have recreation areas, you can promote recreation areas, but what I want you to do is promote what the activity is. These are great hikes or cross-country trails in the winter. Always promote the activity. When you say Wisconsin's largest managed prairie, I have no idea what that means. You know, one thing is the county's using all these big brown signs. We always have to put a shape of the county on it, as if anybody cares besides the county. It doesn't mean anything, and a lot of these look a little bit dated. This is a beautiful golf course. So if you get a chance down the road, you might start doing these more decorative signs. They should put up a sign that just says, we're open for public play, maybe a URL for tea times, club and cart rental, snack bar. All you need is a sign. Because right now we just go, we don't know, and you know what visitors do? They say one word, next, and they're gone. Now, you locals may be saying, that's exactly what visitors to do at our golf course. And I would get that. And so we did finally find where the aqueducts are. See, there's no wayfinding. So even if we were to come here to find them, we wouldn't know. We did go out to the terminal, the airport. And by the way, they do have hangars there, I think, right? Okay. Is there a restaurant there? No. Okay. Do they do charter flights out of here? No? Okay. Is there any fuel and tie downs? Okay, is there any flight instructors? Once again, put a sign. You're turning away a lot of business that would give people reasons to come back, stay longer, spend money, or move here. And I think if those businesses exist, you need to promote them. Here's Jane sitting in a regular sized chair. I always knew she was short. But that's fun. You know what? You know what I would do? You know what I would add to things like this? Is I would add a hashtag. For Instagram, a little hashtag, you know, that says Waterford. A hashtag Waterford WI or Waterford Waterfront or Waterford, whatever, come up with a cool little name. Because when people post pictures like this, they don't know where to post them on Instagram that would give you credit.